Hey guys, welcome to episode 7. Oh my god, I cannot believe I have made it this far um, in this podcast. It's been quite an interesting journey. Honestly, I really did not think I was going to make it past episode 5 without quitting. Um, this podcast, of course, this is my first time doing a podcast, and it's not easy. I will say that. Obviously, y'all have seen that I haven't been posting any reels and, much promotional videos and posts and things like that because, as the title of this podcast says, life be lifin'. And that's exactly what has been going on with me. Life has just been lifing for your girl. With regards to like health, finances, and just, being a mom, life in general. That's just what's been going on with me. Just dealing with, everyday real life shit, basically. And I felt so bad because I see that, a lot of podcasts were posting a lot of reels and people post a lot of reels and they post like their everyday stuff going on. And, it's just like so hard for me to do that and to like really open up about my life. But I know that it's also really, um, when you do open up more, you could be relatable to people and like, especially people who are going through the same shit that, you're going through. Right. But yeah, yeah, your girl was just dealing with life, just a lot of stuff. I don't really want to like get into like right now, probably later on. But, when it comes to like finances and stuff like that, I definitely do want to talk about that later on in like later episodes or seasons or whatever, because, I think that that's, definitely an important part of life, getting your finances together, especially, if you're a single parent like I am, definitely getting your finances up to par and stuff. So, yeah, your girl just, like I said, been dealing with life. I'm going to just flat out say I got 6 credit cards. I had 7 credit cards. Actually, one is closed and I was paying it off. And it was just like a nightmare credit card. And especially like when you deal with like finance charges and when you're making payments, and then next thing you know, oh, because of the interest, they're charging you an extra $65 or $75. And I'm like, well, I just made a minimum payment of, or a little bit over my minimum payment. And now you're charging me another $75. You know what I mean? So it's like, dealing with stuff like that. And just trying to get basically my shit together. I mean, for the most part, I do have my shit together. I'm just trying to, get my finances together so in that way I can like accomplish other goals, a lot of career goals, which, obviously this podcast is being one of them. So there you have it. That's what's been up with me. Yeah, I'm the type of person like, I don't like to leave. I like to tie up my loose ends. If I'm going to like obligate myself into something, I want to make sure that if I have something that needs to be address it, like finances. I feel like, if you want to obligate or like invest your time and energy and money into something like this podcast, for instance, for me, that you need to get all your other shit, taken care of. You need to get everything, taken care of. And, for me, it was mainly finances. And like I said, it was like other stuff, just dealing with other personal stuff. I'm not going to get into that. But, relationships and stuff like that, I'll get into that later in later episodes. But yeah, that's what's been going on with me. And then, of course, the holidays and stuff like that. And it's so funny because I feel like I have not like really talked to you guys because so my past 6 episodes were pre recorded. They were pre recorded in the past few months. So It was like back in like November, like October, November, when I pre recorded those episodes. And so this episode is actually recent. I just filmed this last night. And so, yeah, it's a very recent episode. Yeah, this is what's going on. This is, me just, this is more recent, right? So, yeah, and I'm just like looking bummy as hell. I don't even care at this point. I'm just like looking bummy. I just came on here looking whatever. I usually do put on makeup and stuff like that. But I was just like, you know what? I got to hurry up and do this episode because I ran out of all my pre-recorded episodes and, I want to keep up and stuff like that. And like I said, life been lifing, girl, I'm working 2 jobs. I'm trying to, make sure that, I get my finances together, and I'm want to make sure that I get the finances together so in that way I could obligate more time to this podcast. Yeah, I wanted to obligate more time to this podcast because this is like I said, this is a big dream of mine. This is something that I've been wanting to do for such a long time. And being that I do have a media background, that's something that I really, really wanted, to do. This is something I really, really wanted to do and still want to do. This is my passion. This is something that I really like. It's just not a hobby for me. It's like something I want to make a career, and it's the thing about this is that this is not easy to do because it does take a lot of time, and it just like it irritates me a lot that I do work a day job and that you know instead of me obligating more time to this, I work. I rather obligate full time to this, you know what I mean? And it's just like so hard to do both at the same time. But I know it's gonna happen. I have like plans, I have goals and stuff like that. And I know for a second it looked like I wasn't even like giving a shit about this podcast or, especially since I like really stopped posting and stuff like that. But it, like I said, it wasn't that. It was just, other personal stuff, things I'm dealing with. Like I said, finances. But, I really do care about this podcast. I really, like I said, I really feel like I have a voice and I really want to, be that voice to, talk about different stuff that a lot of people don't talk about on podcasts. Like I'm not this is not one of those podcasts that's just gonna like pull some bullshit out of my ass type of topics. You know what I mean? Like people just come up with the most randomest shit and it sounds so stupid. And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be completely honest. Like a lot of these podcasts out there shouldn't even be around because they talk about the dumbest shit. They talk about relationships. I'm like, okay, how many relationship podcasts are out there? You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm not here to put down any relationship podcast or anything like that. But it's like everyone's starting a podcast just to talk about the same shit that you've heard on the past 5 podcasts. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to sit here and talk about the same shit that everyone else is talking about. I'm just not. I'm here. I'm a real person. I want to talk about real life situations, real life topics that affect us, real people, single moms, being one of them. And just, yeah, just doing that, if I could, talk about real life situations on an, upper level, like talking to celebrities, that'd be amazing. That's like my dream right there. Right. It's so hard, when you have to deal with stuff that you got to deal with, that takes more of a precedence in your life, it's more of a priority in your life. And, sometimes you got to sacrifice, things that are more important versus the things that you want to do, like, versus career goals and stuff like that. And I was like, I I really like I did not want to like, and I don't want to end this podcast. I really do want to keep it going. And, being that I have the first 6 episodes out, that's great, and doing the 7th episode, I'm excited, Now regarding the path of this podcast, like in terms of like the trajectory of where it's gonna go, that's probably where things are gonna change. And next season, definitely things are gonna change. I was initially gonna do 12 episodes for this first season, but I've decided to do 10 episodes. So after this episode, there's going to be 3 more episodes, and I'm going to take a break. So in that way I can focus more on what I'm going to work on for next season. I don't know how long it's going to be, but whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But yeah, I definitely want to take a break. I definitely want to incorporate more interviews because I think it's so much more interesting to engage with other people, get their point of view, get their opinions, like interview people who've like been through shit, you know what I mean? And just like, yeah, just interview other people. And that's definitely what I want to do. And just like make this a very informative yet interesting podcast. I don't know how I'm going to do it. It's going to take a lot of brainstorming. It's going to take a lot of time and everything and effort. But no, it's something I really do want to do. You know what I mean? Because this is, like I said, this is my dream. This is something that I've been wanting to do for such a long time. And the fact that I have access now to do it, I'm like, I want to go like full throttle with this. I really, really do. I really want to go full throttle. I really, because everyone's creating a podcast, but everyone's only doing it because everyone else is doing it. You know what I mean? And like I said, for me, I've really wanted to do this for such a long time. I was just didn't know how to do it, just was so chicken. And then now that I see that there's access to creating one, I created one, right? But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, just getting back to, what I said about where this podcast is going to go. I know that when I started, I wanted to, talk about, single moms and stuff like that. And, parenting and talking about how you raise your kids, solo parenting, right? And then I talked to some other people. I was on a different podcast and they were like, yeah, well, talk about different stuff. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'll talk about different things and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'm still trying to figure things out. You know what I mean? And I still kind of want to go back to what I initially wanted to do, which is like talk about single moms and stuff like that and just figure out how that's going to go. And then just figure some other stuff out. I just don't want to like stick to one topic and then when I get to, a different topic, it's going to be like awkward. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, yeah, I'll figure that, like I said, I'll figure that part out when I get to it. But yeah, I really do, I really do want to do this. I really, want to obligate so much more time to creating, reels and, making sure I engage with you guys more because, I don't know who's watching, you don't know who's watching your stuff. And yeah, I just really want to, gain more of an audience and like more listeners and, really be able to relate to other people and resonate with other people and be able to like just really build something from this, like build a community from this podcast, right? So, changing gears, I also feel like I've never really been open with everyone about myself. So, I don't know, some of you, if some of you guys might know, I am a Southern California native, yeah, from LA, and I am a single mother. My son is autistic. He's on the spectrum. I found out that he was autistic when he was 3 years old. I would take my son to the pediatrician, and my pediatrician would tell me, oh, he's still eating with his hands, and he's like 2 years old, and he's about to be three. He has autism, but you should definitely get him checked to make sure that, he has it and stuff like that. And, I didn't believe her. I was like in denial. And then finally, people like family members were like, you need to get him checked. You need to get his hearing checked. Things about him is very off. And then I finally was like, okay, whatever. You know what? Fine. I had a conversation with my sister one day, and she was just like, you need to get him checked. You need to stop being in denial and see what's up with him, because she's a social worker. So sure enough, I got him checked, and they deemed him autistic. And then I got him checked through the school district, and then they also deemed him autistic too. So, with all that being said, I would like to create conversations, about that, and, dealing with having being a single mom to a guy, to being a single mom to a child with special needs. It's definitely not talked about enough, because there are single parents out there that do have special needs kids, and they're just like dealing with it alone, and it's just like it's really, really difficult. And like I said, no one really talks about it a lot, right? So yeah, that's something I wanted to be a little bit more open about. And then how I became a single mom. I did become a single mom by choice. I would not take that back for anything in this world. um I'm not gonna sit here and bash my son's father. um you know we're not together. And we don't yeah, we're not together. We don't really like get along too much. um and yeah, I'm on child support and stuff, and you know it's not there, you know what I mean? And he's who he is, and I guess in his way his way he's trying his best, even though I don't feel like he is. But I guess you could kind of figure out where I'm going with it. But I'm not going to speak on him, and I'm not going to speak ill of him, right? I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I'm not going to speak ill of my son's father, even though I don't feel like he's doing enough. I'm not going to speak ill on him, and I'm not going to really talk too much about the situation. Um I will say that we were friends. We were friends. I was aware when I met him that he already had two kids, right? He already had two kids. And, I was still friends with him. And then, obviously, we were attracted to each other. And then, one thing led to another. And then I got pregnant. So, yeah. Um, I I've always been like very nervous to talk about being a single mom, and how how I became a single mom, because there's so many like negative connotations out there about single moms. And people d- people automatically assume that, if you're a single mother, that you chose to be this. I mean, well, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I chose to be a single mom. I made the decision, right? But a lot of people feel like, well, you should never lay down with someone, if you don't know how they, if you already know how they are and stuff like that. And it's like, you can't sit here and tell me anything. It's not like I'm a mind reader. It's not like I knew that this individual was going to help or was not going to help, or whatever the case may be. Because, I mean, what about girls who get pregnant at like 18, 19 years old? You can't tell a 18 or 19-year-old that they shouldn't they should have made a better decision. Like, they are immature. Obviously, they probably had no guidance, or maybe they were being, rebellious. You just cannot speak on a lot of people's situation. And it's just so funny that it irks me that a lot of these podcasts out here, a lot of these people do not have any degrees in like family psychology or family therapy or anything like that. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know everybody's situation, and they just like talk so much shit, and that just like irritates me. But I definitely want to be a little bit more open, when it comes to like being a single mom, because, that's who I am. And I'm proud of it. I'm proud that I'm a single mother, because I'm doing what I'm doing to support my child, and I'm taking accountability because I'm raising my son. I'm making sure that my son gets all the essentials he needs, despite the fact that, it is one income that's supporting him, because I'm the doctor, I'm the nurse, I'm the lawyer, I'm the teacher, I'm the provider, I'm everything, right? I'm the accountant, I'm the banker, I'm the, I'm the sole provider, So, I mean, being a mom, you wear multiple hats, I'm the mother and I'm the father, So, yeah. I just wanted to be a little bit more open about that, because I feel like if I'm going to host a podcast, you guys should know who I am. You guys should know a little bit more about me, and, why I feel the way I feel about things, and, how I view certain things. And, you know, yeah, and we shouldn't be up here bashing other people and just, say negative shit like, oh, well, single moms produce the worst children. They produce, they produce children that's going to be prone to violence or prone to doing bad things, and, who are worse for society and things like that. Statistically, people do like to pull up statistics, but where are they basing the statistics from? Is it from certain politicians? Is it from, where are you getting these numbers from? Where are you getting this information from? Because a lot of the times the information we get is misinformation. It's misinformation, and that shit just pisses me off. Like, again, people are always ready to blame a single mother. They're not there to blame an absentee father, or, they're not there to blame the situation, or like look at the situation as a whole, because there are different single parents for different reasons. You cannot sit here and, say that a single parent household is going to produce the worst children. Okay, well, why? First of all, you have to look at why there is a single parent household. Did someone get divorced? Was domestic violence involved? Was, did a partner pass away? Did a partner get incarcerated? Did a partner get sick? And, did a partner, are they in a mental institution? Did they go to rehab? The list goes on and on. There's different reasons why life happens. And in this particular case, there's different reasons why they're single parent households. So, anyways, yeah, I just wanted to get, really candid about who I am. In this episode, I know I had to wait till episode 7 to say this, but I just wanted you guys to get to know me a little bit better, because, yeah, I just felt like I was going around everything. But, if you're going to be in a podcast, if you're going to have a podcast and you're going to build an audience with people, you need to get to know who they are. People need to get to know who you are, especially if they're going to be tuning into your podcast like weekly, bi-weekly, what have you, right? I feel like that for me. If I'm going to have a podcast and I'm going to build an audience, that I want people to know who I am. I want people to know who I am, what I'm all about, the whole, like, almost the whole story. I mean, I ain't gonna tell y'all everything, but I ain't gonna tell y'all everything, you know, because and I'm gonna do an episode on oversharing too, because we need to stop getting into a society of oversharing and getting in everybody else's business and stuff like that. Yeah, we got to stop doing that. But yeah, I just wanted to be very, candid about who I am, and, being a little bit more open with you guys. Because if I'm going to build a brand around this podcast, or build a brand, build whatever, y'all got to know who I am, right? Y'all got to know who I am, and, why I'm doing this, and things like that. But yeah, I wanted to kind of tell you guys, where I've been and what I've been doing, and, where I see the future of this podcast going. I definitely see this podcast going up. I have like a lot of ideas and plans and stuff like that on what I'm going to be doing with this podcast. Again, I'm going to do 3 more episodes after this. And I'm going to end the first season, and then, just hit the ground running and start, working on season 2. I want to definitely be more interesting. I want there to be more interesting stuff in season 2. And like I said, talk to more people, have more conversations with other people. Because, like I was saying in my, I think, second episode, or first, yeah, I think second or third episode with Christopher Charles, like he was saying, your first season of your podcast is going to be the experimental season. And so, definitely this was an experimental season. I've gotten to, do a lot of, had a lot of different things I talked about. I tried to be real as much as I can, and candid and everything. And I interviewed a few people, which was great. I love to interview people. I am rusty though. Just because I like to do it doesn't mean that I'm super good at it. But, I haven't interviewed anyone for such a long time, since college, because like I said, my degree is in journalism. And so I got to interview people then. I'm in college. But yeah, I definitely want to get back into that, and take a class on it, and, learn how to, get back to it again. Because, I really do enjoy doing this stuff, which is why I went to school for it in the first place. But yeah, I'm so glad to be talking to you guys again. It's just been, it's been quite a journey. It's been a journey. I'm so glad I've gotten this far. I mean, I know it's only 7 episodes, but, like I said, it's going to be 10 episodes actually, and this is episode 7, but I am excited, for the future of this podcast and where it's going to go. I know big things are going to happen, as long as I keep on keeping on with this, and, you guys supporting me through this journey and everything like that. I know things are going to happen, and I really want to grow this podcast. I'm just like really, really excited about that. And, thank you guys for tuning in, bi-weekly, for those of you supporting me, my fellow podcasters and stuff. Thank you so much. With all that being said, I'm going to end it now. Thank you again for tuning in to episode 7 of AKA Daddy Podcast. Please tune in I am on Spotify, and I'm also on YouTube, and I have an Instagram. It's AKA Daddy Podcast all across the board. AKA Daddy Podcast. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys on my next episode. Take care.